Hi everyone. In today's video, I am taking you along with me to a clinic with Tik Maynard. This clinic is a very cool format where we did a groundwork lesson in the morning, followed by a riding session in the afternoon. I took so much away from this clinic in both sessions. I absolutely love groundwork and utilize it a lot in my training program, and it was so nice to come home with some more tools and exercises to keep working on. And we definitely had some light bulb moments in the riding portion as well. The first exercise we worked on was backing away, getting comfortable being out of the space of the human, and also getting comfortable being touched with the horseman's stick. I'm going to leave most of the sound on in these video clips so you can all hear what Tik has to say regarding timing and how to build confidence in the horses by having them come towards you as you introduce something like the stick to them.
You look at the line of that halter, you want to be very careful you don't go within that area where the eyes and the ears are. Stay below that halter line. Go ahead. Very good, that's enough. Good. And then walk back up here and then try it again. And then that's enough. And even that, you could even ask for like less steps.
Okay.
Right? Because you want to think as your horse is learning something, whether it's just back up or jumping or shoulder in or whatever it is, there's different stages that they go through. So the first stage is learning. They're learning something new, they don't know it. The second stage is practicing it. And the third stage is you're competing or you're doing a demonstration. Right? And this is where you want to be really good. But right now your horse is still in a learning phase.
Yep.
So asking for just one step is fine. Because you're not trying to get there. You're not trying to show it with hustle or athleticism or perfection. You're just trying to have them learn this thing.
Right.
All right, go ahead. Very good. Very good. Then go back to giving a rub on the neck, on the shoulder, between the eyes. And just introduce it slowly enough that you don't get a big reaction and that your horse gradually gets a little tamer to it. And then I'm going to give you a break for a second to have Ashlyn come up here. And what I want you to do is I want you to spend about 70% of the time giving your horse a rub.
Okay.
And maybe 20 or 30% of the time working on the back end.
Okay.
Okay? Ashlyn, come on up. Any questions about that horse?
The way this group format worked was we would come up with Tik, he'd work on something particular with us, and then we would go work on it on our own while he worked with the other horses, and then we would come back up, show off kind of how far we had gotten with it, and then usually add something to that skill.
Give a little rub. Give a little rub between the eyes, on the neck. On the
Truman was
shoulder.
still a little bit nervous about the stick touching his face, and so he kept trying to back away from it a little bit.
Good job. I'd probably start backing up this way and draw him up to you. Let me start backing away.
Yeah.
I'd probably start seeing it like above here. And I back.
Okay.
Okay. This is going to be more confidence giving the horse to have you backing up.
Okay.
Forward. Right? Then I can see if I can do it still seconds.
Yeah.
Then I can go back to thinking, can I alternate the back up? But now I change my body language and I just go to the rub. There, right away on the second step, his head came down just a quarter inch. Try it again. Head goes up.
So here we kind of build on to the backup that we now want him to lower his head in a more relaxed manner when he backs up. So Tik is just talking through backing him until he softens his head just a little bit and then giving that release when he does that.
Up, down, take a little break. Let's bring him back up here so we got a little fresh start. We've got a new space and we'll do that 3 or 4 more times. Right off the bat. we could also do the same exercise with getting him, when we're getting him used to the stick. So if I want to draw him into me and I back up, draw him all the way into me here like this, and I'm getting him used to the stick and he raises his head and I catch a little moment where instead of his head going up, the head comes down, and I start to take those moments to take a break. Then even when I'm doing this, and if I catch some moments, his head will start to come down even in this exercise. Alright.
After Truman's favorite part of the entire day was the sending him to this overturned muck bucket to find a cookie. The philosophy here is that we spend a lot of time pushing and pulling horses to do things, and we want to be able to communicate with them to a point where we can send them out to something. So I had to stay behind this pole, and I had to use my body language, my line, and my stick to get him to find the cookie on the bucket.
Got it. Really good. You know, for every...
Now we move on to the riding portion in the afternoon. Tik had everybody start with a little bit of leg yield, head to the wall off both legs, which Truman does a lot of. I spend a lot of time doing lateral work in our rides at home. You could tell he had a little bit of tension and wanted to get a little up and down, which is a little bit of foreshadowing for how the rest of our ride went.
Very good. Straighten out. Lovely angle, lovely rhythm. Hands are too low again. Yeah. Google a video of Ingrid Klimke riding dressage and just look at her hands every day for a week. Good. Hands higher. Look where you're going. When your horse gets up and down like that, don't look at your horse, look where you want to go. Same thing if you've got a horse that's bucking or rearing or going sideways or backing up, look where you want to go. Very good. Very good. Lovely angle, lovely rhythm. Hands slightly higher and more forward thinking. All right. Oh, I heard that.
Next, we worked over these poles. First, we walked over them a couple times, and then we trotted. He wanted to see the horses take us to the poles a little bit, nice and forward, without touching them so much. And I was actually pretty proud of Truman here because he has a tendency to either get a little nervous about starting off with this many things in front of him, and then he's a little hesitant, or alternatively, he gets a little overconfident and gets a little rushy and hard to manage. And I thought he actually handled this pretty well, especially considering how much tension he was carrying in his back.
I like that little slower walk. Yes. Good. Go ahead and trot. Go too quick over the last pole. The first two were good. Go ahead and trot. Higher and more in front of you. Feeling of carrying your hands, not resting your hands.
One major thing that Tik focused on for me was keeping my hands a little bit higher. And I definitely get in the habit of riding horses when they're young and green with a wider lower hand to help kind of steer them, keep them straight, and just have a nice soft forgiving elbow. And then as they get more educated and less green, I have a tendency not to then pick my hands up and together. So this was a really helpful reminder. And in addition, it helped bring his balance up and back a little bit, especially when he wanted to get either tense and up and down and fussy with his head, or if he wanted to lean on me, having a higher hand just helped elevate his front end and keep the balance back.
Slow about it. Hands higher, push your hands forward through the turn, just like pushing your hands, just like pushing a wheelbarrow through a turn. Good. Yes, better with your hands up there. Good, very good. Alright, we can have Susan back to walk. Much better. Good job, Susan. Next. Come back to walk. So a little bit the same thing. Your hands are coming here and your eyes looking down.
Yep.
Stretch your shoulders up, hands close to your horse's ears. And you can look at your horse 20% of the time, but I want you to look where you're going 80% of the time. Look up where you're going. Look where you're going.
He's crashing.
Look where you're going. The more your horse gets anxious and goes sideways, the more I want you to look where you're going. Not less. The better trained your horse is, and the more you're working on refined dressage movements, the more you can look at your horse. If there's anything emotional or dangerous with your horse, look up where you're going. Yes, much better with your eye, and it affects your position as well. Yeah, and also it's going to keep your head out of the way of the head. Good. Look at the last pull. Good, look left. Stretch up with your hand. Good. Look at your first pull. Look at the last pull. Good. Look at the fence line. Stretch up with your hand. Okay, just stop for a sec here. So, who else had a similar problem? Susan. You always had a similar problem here. When your horse is going through a turn like this, or if you're jump to jump and you want to slow down after the jump in a straight line, what's very helpful is if you get good at recognizing or having the idea that you're going to change the balance before the speed. Okay? So we're going to learn that from the halt to the back up. Then we're going to learn that from the walk to the halt to the back up, and then the trot, walk, halt, back up, and then eventually at the canter. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Jamie's horse here. You can just drop the reins. Okay? And I'm going to tip it this way so you guys can see a little bit. So already this horse is leaning a little bit, which is why I couldn't halt. So we're going to come back to the halt now, and I'm going to see if I can show you. Okay, so here, I'm going to see if I can exaggerate it. Now here do we see how the weight is a little bit more on the front end than the hind end? So a little bit of a feeling of leaning forward. What I'm going to attempt to do is change the balance without the feet moving. All right? So let's see if we can do that. There. I got the right hind, but do you see how the balance changed before the foot change? Let's see if I can do that even more. There. And then the feet change a second later. You feel that a little bit?
Yep.
So, now we're going to see if we can do that from the walk to the halt to the back up. As I do this, even though I'm looking to go through those three gates, walk, halt, back up, my release is going to be on the change in balance, not on the change in gate. Okay? So, I'm going to be walking. And I'm going to say now when I have the release. So here I am walking. And I go like this. Now. 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 So I'm not, in my mind, I'm not thinking at all about the halt to the back up. I'm thinking about the balance. And as the balance changes, just like if I were to lean back, if I was in this balance, I'd move my feet secondary to get them underneath. Right? Now if I want to do it with the reins, instead of my hand on the chest, I'm going to walk up. Like this. Okay? And I'm going to imagine if I was riding, I'm going to imagine dropping my elbows towards the horse's hocks and bringing my hands up in sort of a half circle towards my nose. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to lift. And now is a little balance change. now is a little balance change. If I'm doing this right, I should be releasing my hands before the feet move. So let's go ahead and try it for the trot. You gotta trust me a little bit here, Jim. Okay, so just gently ask for the trot. There we go. Now, 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 now. So I have a number 5 or 6 of these little micro releases to help my horse find the balance.
Yep.
So I'm thinking much more about that than about the speed.
Right.
Because if you can affect the horse's balance like that, getting the down transition is going to be easy.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're on the forehand and you're trying to slow them, if you have enough force, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be not any easier over them over time.
I absolutely love the idea of thinking about landing off a jump and changing the balance before worrying about changing the speed, because I definitely kind of land off a jump and worry about just getting him back, especially when he wants to get a little fussy and hanging out my hand. So thinking about just landing and shifting his weight to his hind legs was so helpful, and then to take that idea into this canter pull exercise made such a difference.
Good, hands higher. Good job. Look at your first pull. Look at your last pull. Hands up. Nice. Very good. Bring the balance up, just like you were doing. Yes. Yes. Well done. Good call. Look at your first pull. Don't look at your horse. Very good. Raise your hands. Look at the last pull. Look at the rail. Good. Get the balance back through the trot and walk. Take your time. Good job. Back to walk. Think about changing the balance, not slowing down. Good job. On the speed.
We finished up the ride by working on some trot canter transitions, just kind of thinking about easing into the canter and then easing back into the trot from the canter by just changing the balance and not trying to force it or make it happen quickly. And that made a big difference in him not leaning on me or being so fussy in the transitions themselves.
Love it. Good. Let's change direction. Take your time. Hands higher again. Let the speed go a little quick. Don't cut the speed.
This session was originally actually supposed to be a jumping session, but it ended up just turning into working on the balance and some pulls, and I just feel like we got so much out of it, and a couple of light bulb moments, particularly with riding with my hands higher and just thinking about shifting the balance instead of changing the speed, that it was just so beneficial to everything we're working on currently.
Very good looking ahead. Good, Jamie. You get to the center line. You don't have to canter, but you're going to work towards the canter. That's all right. You can let that happen. Yes, very smooth. Lovely. Left hand higher. The elbows moving just a hair. That's good. Just that the elbows are soft. Nice. Good. And then back to trot, and then back to walk. But don't force it.
That is it for today's video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.